ESPN and the National Association of Stock Car Auto Racing continue their coverage of the Winston Cup Series today at Watkins Glen, New York.
With two-thirds of the season almost complete, let's take a look at the talented trio at the top of the points. Jeff Gordon gallops out of the gate quickly and holds his pinnacle spot in the points on the strength of 7 early season wins. Dale Jarrett gets a nod for mid-season momentum. Schwarzenegger would love to have this much muscle to flex, but this may be the magical year for Mark Martin. His three-peat here at the Glen makes him arguably the best road racer of the 90s. He may celebrate today and in December. Mark Martin's the only one of the top 3 in the points that's ever won in a Winston Cup car on a road course, but that could change here today. Jeff Gordon starts way back in 11th in the same car he carried to a second-place finish at Sears Point. And Dale Jarrett's outside pole-winning qualifying lap is a little bit deceiving. Truth be known, he made a couple of mistakes. In other words, this car is a lot faster than people realize. Really, what's going to happen? We could have a new first-time road course winner here today.
The eyes of this former champion look back at a season slowly going up in smoke. Rusty Wallace has seen success. Now he's tasting failure. A year that has left the most dedicated shaking their heads. But not so suddenly. This season has swallowed up former champions. Pocono sent Terry Labonte's season spinning. Then, at the Brickyard, Terry's charge hit a brick wall. The warning signs are clearly visible. But climbing tough hills is a specialty of the reigning champ. This is the face of a road course ace. After 128 starts, Wally Dallenbach wants to be face-to-face with victory. Friday, he put down a deposit. Today, the First Union driver hopes to cash in. Well, Wally Dallenbach is looking to break the bank today. Twice he has finished second here at Watkins Glen. Today, he'd like to steal a win. His getaway car is pretty fast, but there's lots of traffic out there. And trailing him, a couple of road course villains named Rusty and Terry. It's not very easy going. The Wild West shootout comes east today. Who'll win? A veteran gunslinger or one of those young guns with a real quick draw?
Even with the physical hurt from this tumble in Talladega, this suffering superstar somehow managed to battle back.
When you relax, it feels good, but it hurts. It's a good hurt.
2 weeks later, he grabbed the pole at Watkins Glen.
Jeff Bodine picked the perfect time to come home. Down on his luck, but not down on his team. Here, he's a hero and the defending champ. He missed Indy, but that's history. He packed up and left. There's no place like home.
Ricky Rudd's roller coaster ride began 1 week ago when he was crowned Beast of the Brickyard after winning best in class in terms of saving gas. But that feeling of nothing can stop me now took on new meaning 2 days ago as brake failure sent his Tide ride rocketing to the turn 10 rails. Ricky was roughed. The car was ruined. Hopefully Ricky Rudd's rough ride is over. What a tumultuous week for the Tide team. Today he starts his backup car way back in 31st position. But you Rudd fans, don't fret. This car captured consecutive top 5 finishes here the last 2 years.
This isn't just another race for Jeff Bodine. It's a new beginning. He's been shopping for financial help, and next week he'll unveil his new co-owners. He's the defending champion of this race. He's a hometown hero. He's in the car that won here 1 year ago today, and he brings the same enthusiasm and is hoping for the same result.
Maybe it's really a game of numbers. 3-time Watkins Glen pole sitter Dale Earnhardt starts his famous number 3 from 3rd position today. You see, road racing is a lot like dice rolling. It takes the perfect combination to win. Maybe those numbers mean that Dale will indeed deliver a victory here today.
Well, the car can be perfect. The crew can pull off 17-second pit stops for 4 tires. But the buzzword anymore is track position. It's so critical, Ned.
It is. It's important at every racetrack, Benny, but nowhere is it more important than on this road course. The tires are so good today. So much money is poured into the sport, making these cars so equal that it's almost impossible to pass on this racetrack. So whatever you can do to get that track position, if it means special pit strategy, then you do that. But you got to have track position if you're going to have a good shot at winning.
ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you live to Watkins Glen, New York, and the NASCAR Winston Cup Bud at the Glen. Going into this race, Jeff Gordon has a 79-point edge on Mark Martin. Former point leader Terry Labonte has fallen to 4th. Dale Earnhardt remains in 6th position. Bill Elliott is now 10th in the standings. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins. Welcome to Watkins Glen, an historic old racetrack. They used to run the Formula One U.S. Grand Prix here. The stock cars, however, have been racing on and off here since the late 50s. It's the second and final road course event of the year, something a lot of drivers look forward to, but others dread coming here. Jeff Gordon is the points leader, but there is still no dominant force in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series this year. Jeff has never won on a road course, but second in points, Mark Martin has a very impressive record here. And Mark will be starting in 9th position, and Jeff Gordon in 11th. We'll show you the starting lineup when we come back, and we'll also have the start of the race, the Bud at the Glen at Watkins Glen, New York. ESPN Speed World live coverage of the Bud at the Glen from Watkins Glen, New York is being brought to you by Budweiser, the classic American lager. By Valvoline Durablend, the #1 selling semi-synthetic motor oil. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, the teams and the drivers saluting the fans, and we're almost ready to go. One more lap and we'll get the green flag. Now, today's field consists of 18 Fords. Ford is on top of the manufacturer's points battle, 16 Chevys, and 8 Pontiacs. The worst starting position that a driver has ever won from here? Well, 13th, and has happened on 2 occasions, including last year Jeff Bodine. But look at these drivers who are starting back of 13th today.
Well, of course, it seems like things that have happened in the past, those rules are made to be broken, and it could happen here today, but it is very difficult to pass on this racetrack.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's 90-lap race. On the pole, his 3rd start of the 1995-97 season, and his first career pole goes to Todd Bodine. Dale Jarrett, 3rd in points, starts alongside. In row number 2 for today's race, the 1996 pole sitter, Dale Earnhardt, and Bill Elliott with his best starting spot of 97. In 5th position, Wally Dallenbach led 14 laps last Saturday at Indianapolis, and Sterling Marlin, whose best finish was 6th here in 93. 7th starting position goes to Jeff Bodine, the defending race champion, alongside his Joe Nemechek, second fast in the happy hour last evening. Mark Martin starts in 9th position. He's won 3 in a row, 93, 94, 95, and Robbie Gordon, who was the fastest in happy hour yesterday. Jeff Gordon starts 11th. He's never won on a road course. Steve Park will make his Winston Cup debut. Rusty Wallace has the inside position in row number 7. He has 6 road course wins, more than any other active driver, and Bobby Labonte, who had his best finish of 97 last week at Indy, a 2nd.
On the inside of row 8, Kenny Schrader from St. Louis, and a great road racer, Terry Labonte, on the outside. The 9th row on the inside, Michael Waltrip and Ward Burton on the outside. Row 10, Dorsey Schrader filling in for Dick Trickle today in the 90 car, and Brett Bodine with a new owner. Back in row 11, Jimmy Spencer and Ernie Irvin. Back in row 12, Kenny Wallace and Bobby Hamilton. In row 13, Johnny Benson and rookie Mike Skinner. In row 14, Chad Little and Jeremy Mayfield.
In row 15, we have Ted Musgrave and John Andretti. Row 16, we see Ricky Rudd, last week's winner, along with Darrell Waltrip. Row 17, Steve Grissom and Lance Hooper in the car number 1. Kyle Petty and Jeff Burton make up row 18. Derek Cope and David Green in row 19. Provisional starters here today are Ricky Craven and Rick Mast in row 20, and Hut Strickland and Jeff Green in row 21.
3 drivers failed to qualify for this event and didn't have provisionals. Bobby Hillen, Morgan Shepherd, and Dave Marcus. We have several in-cars for you. Bill Elliott was up here in the broadcast booth with me last year in this race because he was suffering injury sustained at Talladega.
There's Robbie Gordon, who spun down in the gravel a couple times yesterday, starting 10th. We're right along with him. And Ricky Craven there starting way back.
Yes, he's one of the far back in the field, Benny. He's got a long way to go.
There's the 10 car of Ricky Rudd. He's trying to put 2 wins together in a row after last weekend's win at Indianapolis. Rusty Wallace will carry one of our onboard cameras also as he gets set to go. And finally, Mark Martin. And Mark Martin, look at this. at Watkins Glen. Mark has been in 9 races and has 3 wins, 8 top 5s. The rest of the 28 others, well, they don't have even that kind of record.
The other 4 cars in the top 5 in the point standings in those 28 races, those 4 drivers do not have a top 5 finish. Green flag is out.
Everybody making the move down into turn number 1. A hard right-hander.
Michael Walter dives on the inside of Slater. They are absolutely 3 abreast to that corner.
That's a turn. It's hard to make it sometimes when you just single file.
Jimmy Spencer also going to the inside, making it 3 wide. They come up now through the S's. From the Pennzoil copter cam, you can see the field snaking through the S's, and now they hit the backstretch. The next obstacle, the interlude.
Dale Jarrett already from his 3rd starting spot has the lead.
Started on the outside pole and beat Todd Bodine down into turn 1.
That boy did. He started 2nd, not 3rd.
Little dust being kicked up, but it looks like that everybody is going to survive this first lap. At least they've gone through the interlude okay. Now they head for turn number 10. This is where Ricky Rudd got into trouble.
Jim Gordon back there trying to get by Mark Martin. He does. On the left-hander, Ernie Irving going by Jimmy Spencer, and here comes John Andretti.
And so Dale Jarrett leads the first lap here at Watkins Glen, and Robbie Gordon is going to the inside of Sterling Marlin. That's the 1,534th lap that Dale has led in 1997.
Rusty coming up through the car number 2.
We understand that Ricky Rudd may be having a problem. Bill, what's the story?
Problem with the shifter in the Tide Ford, so it looks like Rudd may be making an early stop. Jim Long talking to him on the radio, but a problem with the shifter. This team burned up a transmission last night in happy hour. They have early problems here in Bud at the Glen.
And we can see him, it's in neutral. He cannot get it in any gear. You see the shifter there, he's back and forth, but it's not going anyplace. He'll have to get to the pits. And he's trying to set the mirror as well.
So the thrill of victory at Indianapolis last week is now the agony of defeat. As Rudd moves through the inner loop, smoke now pours from the car.
Well, evidently it's hung in some gear. The shifter knob itself looked like it was in neutral, but evidently it's in some gear or the other.
Yeah, it's in one of the low gears, which doesn't let him go very fast. But it will turn that engine a lot of RPMs.
It's 2.45 miles around here. Wally Dallenbach is going for 4th position and gets us passing Dale Earnhardt in turn 1.
Dallenbach is one of those drivers figuring he had a good shot at the pole, but didn't quite get it. But Rudd, his problem seems to be mounting smoke inside the car now.
Wow. Well, he is just about to, now he's made the entrance to the pit area, so that long trip around has finally come to an end for Ricky Rudd. Let's hope that his race is not at an end, but he comes in slowly, and it does not look good for Ricky Rudd.
You can see the engine is still running because you can see the tachometer is on about 4,000 RPMs. Bill Weber?
Well, he's here, and well, he shuts it off right away. Underneath the car goes to Jack. One guy goes underneath the rear end. Now a second man. Now Jack stands. It's rattling around. The shifter is rattling around in the car. He can only get it into 1 gear, and as you guys pointed out, it does appear to be a very slow gear. Ricky sits here in victory lane at Indianapolis. They're going to push the car back to the garage. Boy, oh boy. I'll tell you, that's what this sport is all about. You can never get too high. Never.
Well, Rudd has 2 wins here at Watkins Glen in 88 and in 90. As the field comes by and completes another lap, they push Rudd's car back behind the wall, and Bill Elliott now tries to pick up a position. He's in 3rd position, but cannot go any further. That's Todd Bodine running in 2nd. Dale Jarrett, of course, is the leader. You got Bill Elliott, Dallenbach, and then Earnhardt.
And Todd Bodine's doing a great job of hanging up there with Dale Jarrett, even though he did win the pole. But he was not very fast in practice before qualifying, was not very fast yesterday afternoon in happy hour, but he's hanging right in there.
But Todd Bodine learned something going in turn 1 that time. Robbie Gordon takes a look on the inside of Dale Earnhardt, can't make the pass. But Todd Bodine moves over because he thought Bill Elliott was going by. When he realized Elliott wasn't going, he turned in the corner and picked up 2 car lengths on Dale Jarrett. He'll remember that the next time he gets to turn 1.
Boy, the drivers are going over that area there coming out of the inner loop and kicking up a little dust that may play a factor a little bit later. Here's Jeff Gordon now to the inside of Steve Park. And he goes between Park and Jeff Bodine.
Steve Park was running in 10th spot. Jeff Gordon took that over. Steve Park started 12th. He's able to maintain the pace pretty well.
They come down the front straightaway again, and we see Robbie Gordon looking to the inside once again. And here is Mark Martin trying to get by Steve Park. They go in side by side, and they come out okay. Dr. Jerry Punch has a report on Todd Bodine.
Well, guys, Todd has already dodged at least one bullet today. During the pre-race inspection of the team looking at the car, they jacked it up, and the right front ball joint fell off the car. Apparently, one of those off-track excursions through the litter box yesterday may have broken the ball joint. As they let the jack down, the ball joint cracked and popped and fell apart as they were just getting ready to push the car onto the starting grid.
This is the C.C. Welliver car, and he has local sponsorship on that machine. And has been very impressive here at Watkins Glen. Dale Jarrett with about a 1.5, 2-car length advantage here. As we've completed 4 laps, the 5th lap about to be completed. Bill Elliott still running 3rd, followed by Wally Dallenbach and Dale Earnhardt. We're in the early goings of the Bud at the Glen. From high overhead, Watkins Glen International in central New York, we have Watkins Glen International Raceway and the Bud at the Glen going on. You're watching from the Pennzoil Copter Cam as the cars race around here. That's Dale Jarrett still leading the event. Well, last week it was nothing but glory for Ricky Rudd, who drove the victory in the Brickyard 400. But on the very first lap of this race, this is what happened to Rudd here at Watkins Glen. He came into the pits, but ultimately the car was put back behind the wall, and we go down to Bill Weber to find out exactly what's wrong.
Well, this is unbelievably brutal. Something in the transmission. Did you feel it on the parade lap, Ricky?
Well, I really didn't feel it, Bill, till we went up through the gearbox and I grabbed 3rd gear on the front straightaway and just vibrated something terrible. It was a terrible vibration. Then it hung in the gears, and not really sure. They had to change the transmissions this morning because the other one had run hot in practice, and they put a backup transmission in. It worked on it all morning, and obviously something went wrong in it, and not really sure just yet.
Okay, well, they brought out a new drive shaft here. They're working underneath the rear of the car. Ricky Rudd, the winner at Indy, sits behind the wall in the garage. Bill Elliott climbs to 2nd.
Yeah, we've had a couple of changes here in the top 5. Elliott has moved to 2nd, and Dale Earnhardt has come to 4th, passing Dallenbach. Well, Ricky Rudd is our True Value man of the race. His 2nd win of the season was recorded last week at Indianapolis. He is 5th top 5 of the year. And Ricky is donating $1,000 to Barium Springs Home for Children. He's donated both money and time to local North Carolina Homes for Kids. And we congratulate Ricky on being the True Value man of the year because of his win at Indianapolis.
There's Earnhardt diving to the inside of Todd Bodine. He will try to take this, will take that spot away. And meanwhile, back in the back, Robbie Gordon is trying to get by his teammate, Wally Dallenbach. Can't quite make it. Sterling Marlin trying to get by Joe Nemechek. Right now, we had the 3 Sabatis cars running nose to tail.
Yeah, they're running 5th, 6th, and 7th. Dallenbach, Gordon, and Nemechek. So Todd Bodine has fallen from 2nd position to 4th here in the last couple of laps, as we're on board with Robbie Gordon. Bill Weber?
Bob, Robbie Gordon too tight. They want to pull some tape off the nose of that car. So that's Robbie's problem here early in the race.
He's hanging right in there with it.
Napa Field summary will show you where everybody's running, and the numbers, of course, in parentheses indicate their starting position. Jarrett continuing to lead. He's only led 7 laps on road courses and 22 career road course races. He has led all the way so far today, and we have completed 8. You notice that Dorsey Schrader there in the 90 car, substituting for Dick Trickle.
And that was Dick Trickle's decision. He said, I'm just not that good at road racing, and Junie Donlevy, the 90 car, needs owner points.
Schrader finished 3rd in yesterday's Trans Am race here at Watkins Glen, which was won by Tom Kendall as he broke the record, 9 consecutive wins, and Chad Little has a problem.
Yeah, he's coming very slow in the John Deere Pontiac.
And Brett Bodine also comes in the close call Ford.
At least Brett was able to make it back to pit road. The jack goes under the car. It looks like they have the left front tire. Bill Weber?
That's what it looks like, Benny. Around to the left side. Going to change left side tires. Brett has one of the pit stalls here just across the start-finish line. Pulling some sheet metal away. It looks like from the left front. Hard to tell from this position. They want the jack raised back up so they can tighten the lug nuts on the left front. Chad Little probably will not make it back. And now Brett has left tires and returns to the race.
One thing about a road course, it takes them about 1 minute and 16 or so seconds to go around here, so you can make a pit stop like that, and still you see the caution out as Little pulls his car off the racing service, but you can get back out and stay in the lead lap as Brett Bodine will do. It'll be a full track caution.
Apparently, an ignition problem is hampering Chad Little, so there is the caution flag that comes out here at the conclusion of lap number 10. And look at this, they're under caution.
Well, they're racing back to the line. Robbie Gordon is trying to steal that spot from Todd Bodine, and you know what? He's only liked about 12 inches doing that.
So Bodine will hold the position, and there is the reason for the first full course caution here at Watkins Glen. Chad Little stalled on the racetrack. Back in a moment. Under caution here at Watkins Glen because of the stalled car of Chad Little. That car, by the way, has been retrieved and is behind the wall. And the 29 car now, Jeff Green, is showing some smoke.
And I've read that Cartoon Network will not be back on that car next year, so I don't know. It looks like maybe a transmission did in there.
Yeah, it looks like gearing of some sort rather than engine.
Well, we saw Robbie Gordon try to pick up a position as he raced to the line and the caution flag, and we have a great shot of it from his onboard camera.
The last corner to the start finish line. Here they make contact. Watch. Wow. Almost gets the back wheels of the 34 car off the ground, but Todd Bodine was able to maintain that spot.
So Todd Bodine 4th, and Robbie Gordon is in 5th position as you get a shot of him under caution. Wally Dallenbach running 6th, and Joe Nemechek is in 7th position at the moment. You can keep up with the lap-by-lap scoring, and you can find out just about anything else you need to know concerning NASCAR racing if you'll go online and check out the NASCAR website, www.nascar.com, NASCAR Online.
Field still circulating by the start-finish line. Next time by, no doubt they will be given the green flag.
Now, they give them the signal for one more lap to go when they're just coming out of the inner loop over there. So it could come this time.
Let's take a look at the point leaders. Jeff Gordon came into this event as the leader of the point standings. He is currently running in 9th position.
All the cars in the back. I don't know what spot that is. Looks like John Andretti, and he was running in 24th spot. Looked like all the cars from 24th back decided to pit. All the cars from 1 through 23 decided to stay on the racetrack.
These drivers don't have a lot to lose and could have a lot to gain by changing tires, making adjustments, and, of course, topping off the fuel.
So Darrell Waltrip comes out here and picks up several positions because of that quick pit stop.
You know, they might be able to make it on one more stop. I mean, they must be what they're planning on trying to do is make it on one. I don't think they can make it on one more stop, though. That's a long way to run.
It would be a long way. I don't know. They'd have to go about 40 laps on each run from there on. But it's possible.
Jeff Gordon, the front runner in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings. Mark Martin 2nd, Dale Jarrett 3rd, and each of these drivers leads in an important category. Jeff has the most wins. Dale Jarrett has accumulated the most bonus points so far this year, but concerning finishes of 30th or worse, Mark Martin leads in that category. He only has 3.
20th or worse.
20th or worse, yeah.
Come on, Bob.
So Jeff Gordon at the moment running in 9th position. Mark Martin is 10th, and Dale Jarrett is the leader of the race as 11 laps have now been completed. And just as you rejoin us, the green flag comes out, and we resume the Bud at the Glen as Dale Dale Jarrett leads them down to turn number 1, and let's see if Robbie Gordon can make a move here. He tried to come into the line, and he's going to get 4th spot.
And Joe Nemechek looks like he's going to try to get by Todd Bodine as well. Todd almost out in the grass, as several cars have been able to get by.
Here comes Sterling Marlin and Jeff Gordon right behind Bodine now, trying to get the position. And apparently they are going to black flag the 40 car.
We're just past the start-finish line. They were 3 deep as they headed on down into turn 1. So.
Oh, there goes Gordon trying to get by Earnhardt. Whoa, that was close down to the S's as Earnhardt was trying to get by Bill Elliott. Robbie Gordon trying to get by Earnhardt.
Let's see if indeed they do black flag the 40 car. There's Robbie Gordon. Looking back from Bill Elliott's car back to 3rd place, Dale Earnhardt, as Elliott right now has 2nd wrapped up.
I think he was gaining on Dale Jarrett right before that caution came out, so he might have something for him. And it looks like Gordon is slowing down.
34, 35 corners.
So he is.
Tires and gas, guys.
Let's go down to Jerry.
Wait, I don't know if I can if we get a stop and go, can I?
All right, Mike Hillman talking to Robbie Gordon, who's being black flagged coming down pit road in the Coors Light Chevrolet at 35 miles an hour. What they are going to do, they're thinking about going ahead and changing 4 tires and filling it up full of fuel. But if they do, he will still need to make 2 stops. Now, he brings the car to a stop. Mike Hillman says, no tire change, just go. They changed their mind at the very last minute, and now Gordon is down and away without a tire change or fuel.
That's quite a setback for Gordon.
Yeah, he goes running.
We
Third
talked
or 4th spot to last.
Yeah, we talked about that track position. He gave it all up right there.
Looks like Earnhardt is still looking for a way around Elliott.
Looks like right now you think about the first 10 cars and put them in front. It'd be difficult for the other guys to pass really evenly matched cars.
There's Gordon trying to make a pass on Sterling Marlin. Looks like he's going to be able to do that.
So he moves up to 6th.
As we saw that Rusty Wallace got a nice Todd Bodine. Here's the pass. I'm sorry, Bob. Here's the pass that Robbie Gordon was black flag for. He's on the outside. You have to pass on the other side. You cannot pass over on the right side. And we see Dollenbach. Now, he was in the right spot. Oh, Dollenbach goes by Earnhardt.
Wow. So Nemechek has moved up to 3rd, and Dollenbach 4th, as Earnhardt loses 2 spots. You'll notice that those standings have changed there on the Field side. Yeah. Going for the lead as they enter the inner loop, and Bill Elliott will get the lead.
Nemechek passed Earnhardt going into turn 1 the last time. First lead change of the day.
Elliott last led at Pocono in July. He's led 214 laps so far this season. How about the strong performance here in the early going by the guy they call Front Row Joe, who didn't start on the front row this week, but has come on strong here in the early going. Oh, and Ward Burton is off course.
That's at the inner loop, I believe, Bob, or just outside of it.
And it doesn't look like the car is running. No. That's turn 9 right after the inner loop.
Yep.
So right now a local yellow in that area, and Nemechek goes to 2nd. So Dale Jarrett now loses a couple of positions early as Jeff Gordon runs in 6th position.
And I think this time they will throw out the caution flag when the cars get back to the start-finish line so they can safely send some workers out. Oh, and the 75 car some contact with someone.
Yeah, he's had some big-time contact. Got that left front fender in on the tire. Looks like that's a repairable situation, but certainly will require a pit stop.
And if the fender doesn't cut the tire before he gets back to the pits.
Yeah.
There's a new crew chief on this car this week. Dave Charpentier has moved into that position, coming over from the Savco team. So Rick Mast is trying to get back to the pit area. And the full course caution is coming out. Yellow flag is being waved at the start-finish line, and the full course caution is the second time this afternoon.
I think I see what happened to the left front fender on Matt's car. It looked like the right rear fender on Darrell Waltrip's car is banged up. When the car turns right there, we'll be able to see, yes. Let's see if we have anything on this. There they are, side by side. So that's where the damage happened, coming off turn 1. Derek Cope takes evasive action. Both those cars had pitted on lap 11, both Darrell Waltrip and Rick Mast.
There's a reason for the caution. Ward Burton's car that has stalled. We talked about Dorsey Schrader driving the number 90 car this week. Bill Weber is standing by with the regular driver of the machine.
And Dick Trickle has put his team ahead of himself. Here, you stepping aside, you invited Dorsey to make this trip.
I called him a couple weeks ago to make sure he was available, and this is big business, you know, and we're trying as a team to get in the top 25 in owners points this year, to get all the perks and provisionals, whatever, and today is the first day of the rest of the year, so, you know, I made the decision to stay out of the car, not bump some. You know, I could have started the car and put him back in it or stayed in it. But if we're going to try to get a top 25 in points, which would be a accomplishment for us right now, I figured today is the day to start. So we'll be in the car every race after this. But Dorsey's a professional road racer. I'm a professional oval racer. So I decided to let him ride it out.
And he's got a brand new car for the Oval at Michigan next week. That's Dick Trickle. Here's Jerry Punch.
All right, Dorsey making his 6th start here at Watkins Glen today. And the neat thing about Dorsey is, yeah, he's a road racer, but 4 of the 5 previous Winston Cup cars he's driven here, he's been able to make his way to the front and lead, including last year when he drove Bill Elliott's car. He led this race, led a number of laps, ran in the top 5, had a throttle stick late in the race, and finished 13th. And Dorsey said after today, they're going to start turning their attention to the Craftsman Truck Series, that maybe he and Tom Gloy will run full-time down south in 1998.
How about that? There's some damage on the 21 car, Michael Waltrip.
That looks like a curb, doesn't it, Ned? Looks like he got on the curb too much.
Yes, it does.
Banged up that fender.
Yep. He'll need to come in and get that worked on. That's too close for comfort. And the pits will be open, I'm sure, when they come around the next time.
Michael's running back in 17th position.
Right in front of Dorsey Schrader, that we're just talking about. He's running in 18th.
We had 2 early caution periods here now.
And normally you would see the leaders going in at this stage of the race and putting some tires on. But they're only going to stop twice. If they stop now and have to stop twice again, they're not going to do it. They're going to wait until they can make it on 2 stops. Wouldn't you think, Dan?
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they want to do. Jeff Bodine, of course, won the race last year by staying out there and stopping on lap 30 and on lap 60. But now, Vinny, we're coming up pretty close to lap 20. 20 off the 90 is 70. That means they'd have to run 35 laps on the other. So I don't know.
Some of them might do it.
Some of them might be able to do that.
All right. Down to Jerry Punch.
Hey, you know, I was thinking about that this morning at the garage when we walked out. We rode out here together and talked about the fuel mileage. I talked to a number of people in the garage, and no one I talked to, based on their calculations of how much gear they were using and how much fuel they were using, could run more than 34 laps. In fact, a number of teams, it was very, very close just to make it to lap 30. That's the magic number. It's a 90-lap race. They wanted to go to lap 30 and then pit again on lap 60. As Mark Martin now has opted to come down pit road in the Valvoline Ford. Martin, who three-peated here, has won 3 of the last 4 at Watkins Glen, will now bring his car down pit road. And a lot of other guys deciding to stay out, including Bill Elliott, Earnhart, etc., up toward the front. But now Jimmy Finnig, Steve Mill and the crew getting set to work on Mark Martin's Valvoline Ford. They go to the left side of the car, I should say, here, and we'll jack it up, top it off in fuel. They'll clean the windshield, and most importantly, they are going to make a chassis adjustment on the car number 6. About a round and a half out of the left rear. Now they come to the inside, which here on the road course is the right side of the car. They will put right side tires on. Of course, Mark Martin currently second in the Winston Cup point standings, and right behind him, with nothing to lose, Robbie Gordon on pit road. He had that stop-and-go penalty, and he will stay here and pit with the Coors Light Chevrolet. They will change outside tires. Now Mike Hillman and the crew come around to the inside of the car. Gordon would desperately love to win here. He knows he's been a veteran road racer. His lineage growing up in... Now the spotter's telling them that they can go. They're down and away. Let's go to Bill Webb.
And Brett Bodine on pit road. Not a happy homecoming for him. Qualified 12th. Broke something in the front end. They think it's the sway bar. They're underneath the front of his close call Thunderbird, working on that. Meanwhile, Ward Burton has gone to the garage. The engine locked up. Same thing as Friday's practice. Blown engine. Day over for the 22. The 11 sits here on pit road under caution at the Glen.
So work continues on that car while everybody else has made it, or most everybody else made it back onto the racetrack awaiting the green flag. And we'll be back for that in just a minute. It's the butt of the Glen NASCAR Winston Cup race from Watkins Glen International. And tune in to ESPN Monday at 7:30 Eastern Time for Prime Monday with Mike Tirico. And then at 8 o'clock on ABC, a preseason Monday Night Football game, a Pennsylvania state battle between the Eagles and the Steelers. Tomorrow here on ESPN and ABC. Jerry Punch has more on the pit stop that Mark Martin just made.
Well, guys, this Roush team just made a liar out of me. I talked to a lot of folks in the garage area this morning, and no one could go more than 34 laps. Steve Mills said, we just calculated it again. We can go 37 laps. We're only going to stop once more. That'll be on lap 54.
Some contact between Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt down in the corner.
Whoa, and Earnhardt's loose coming off the corner.
And Jeff Gordon is all over the back of it trying to get by this Steve Park. 14 car, if you're unfamiliar with it, that's Steve Park, his very first NASCAR Winston Cup race. And look at the front row, Joe, for the lead.
How about that? And he gets it into the inner loop. Joe Nemechek has gone to the front.
Tony Glover's like peanut butter and jelly in there.
Boy, did he get wide coming off that turn. Yeah, they're gelling right together, Benny.
Would have to mention something that has to do with food. Now, Nemechek has a 3 or 4 car length advantage over Bill Elliott and the others. Riding with Rusty Wallace.
Ricky Rudd, I'm told, is coming back on the racetrack. There he is with his transmission changed.
Got to get out there and get points because Rudd is in the top 10. He's 8th in the point standings going in. And here are Gordon and Earnhardt side by side again at turn 1. And Earnhardt again loose coming off.
Wow. And Jeff Bodine, I don't think he was trying to dodge or he got hit from the back or what.
Yeah, I think he was trying to dodge what he thought was going to happen there.
Looks like Earnhardt's car is just slowly going away, Ned.
It's not quite as strong as it was early in the early laps. And Gordon, he was good yesterday in practice. And I had a feeling he was going to come towards the front.
And Serlin Marlin dives to the inside trying to get by Bodine. Can't quite make it. Bill Weber.
Hutch Strickland has just pulled onto pit road and turned off the engine to the Circuit City Ford. They believe they had an oil line come off. So more disappointment for these guys after they missed Indy last week.
Wow.
There it is. What's going from the...
Joe Nemechek was the second fastest in happy hour last evening behind Robbie Gordon. So this placement of him at the front of the field is no real surprise. That car has worked well all weekend.
He's pulling away.
Yep. Jeff Bodine down to the inside of Earnhardt. This is what happened in the first turn last lap as we had some movement between Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt, and then Jeff Bodine coming off the corner.
Well, we see Jeff Gordon, the 24 car, on the inside of Earnhardt, the 3. And all of a sudden, Earnhardt goes up, gets on the ribble tips, and gets loose and almost turned it sideways, Ned. And Jeff, you're right, Jeff Bodine was dodging the wreck, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. And he got loose, got sideways, too. Both of them got him straightened out. Being the great race drivers they are.
Jeff Gordon started 11th and now 19 laps into the race. He's moved to 5th, and he's right on the rear wing, the rear spoiler of Wally Dallenbach as they go down the back stretch, or the area between turns 9 and 10. Here's Gordon now going by Wally Dollarback.
Boy, he has a fast race car.
Jeff Gordon finished second at Sears Point in the only other road race held this year in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. Here comes Jeff to the inside of Dale. Got it.
Yeah, Ben, it's unusual. Usually Dale Earnhardt will go into those turns as deep as anybody, but his car is just not allowing him to drive it in as deep as he's going to.
It looks like that's where he is struggling right now, is getting in the corners, especially down in turn 1.
Earnhardt led the most laps here last year, 54 from the pole position. On board with Rusty Wallace now. He's 9th.
Rusty started 13th.
Park is hanging right in there, isn't he?
He sure is. I'm really impressed with Steve Park, the job he's doing here.
Well, he's driven on this track before.
And yes, he's driven the modifieds here, the trucks here, and Busch North cars here, but never in the Winston Cup car. Jerry Punch?
Word is that during the caution flag that Dale Earnhardt's crew could talk to Steve Park's crew and basically give Steve some advice about what to do on the racetrack. And the last thing they told him that I understood was they told Steve, follow Rusty Wallace. You'll learn a whole lot about road course racing behind that number 2 car.
Well, that's exactly what he's doing.
Good advice, too.
Yeah. He's got Ernie Irvin and Terry Labonte breathing down his neck, though.
He's got a lot of good road racers right around him.
There went Mark Martin, who's trying to come up through the field now after that pit stop. He is up to 26th.
Mark Martin in front of Ricky Craven. Ricky Craven is running in 28th spot. One car between he and Mark and Wally. And Robbie Gordon goes by Ricky Craven in the interlude.
Boy, that's a tough place to pass. Here goes Jeff Gordon around Dale Jarrett.
And picks up 3rd position. So now we've got Joe Nemechek leading, Bill Elliott running 2nd, and then Gordon and Jarrett.
That's twice that Jeff Gordon has passed in the left-hander in turn 10. Jeff Bodine, Wally Dollarback, Dale Earnhardt. Sterling Marlin doing an exceptional job today at the road course.
Here are Ernie Irvin and Terry Labonte running back there in 11th and 12th position. Terry trying to get on track again after 2 bad finishes in the Winston Cup competition that has dropped him to 4th in the point standings. There comes Kenny Schrader.
Todd Bodine, who started on the pole, has dropped back to 14th, but he's still running there with that pack.
Nemechek continues to lead here at Watkins Glen. 23 laps completed. As he crosses the line, he completes lap number 24. Put Nemechek at the front of the field. Welcome back to Watkins Glen. There's the leader of the race, Joe Nemechek. An AutoZone on-track interval report as we clock laps 20 through 24. Look at his lap times and look how he has extended that interval from 1.3 seconds on lap 20 to 2.5 on lap 24.
Yeah, a minute, 75 seconds, 0.6, 75.5, very consistent for Nemechek.
See there, Jeff Gordon moving up on Bill Elliott.
Gordon to make the pass down in turn 1. Give it to Gordon. He's got some damage to the left front of that car, don't he?
That might be when he and Earnhardt got together earlier.
Jeff Bodine made a pit stop in the last lap. Bill Weber has the reason.
It was a routine stop, Bob. Routine for Jeff Bodine. I asked crew chief Pat Trice this morning when they were going to stop. He wouldn't tell me. Right now, Bobby Labonte also on pit road. Now, a big wreck in turn one. Back up to you guys.
Well, we have Lance Hooper and Jeff Burton involved in the incident. I was watching that as they went down in the corner, and there just simply wasn't enough room.
And Burton is stuck.
Yep.
He's in the gravel pit, and look, the wheels are spinning. He can't get out. They've got to get someone in there to pull him out, and some pretty good damage to the nose of the car.
Well, this could help Bobby Labonte and Jeff Bodine, who have made pit stops. If the caution comes out, most everybody else probably would stop because they're very close to regular pit stops. Are we going to have a caution? Yes, we are going to have a full course caution.
Now, the question, Mark Martin was in the middle of that wreck down there. I don't know if Mark Martin hit anything or not.
Well, the field comes down and gets the caution flag, so we're in our third overall caution, and here's what happened.
There we see Lance Hooper trying to get on the inside of the 99 car, goes into the 99, does not know he's there. Actually, he went through the grass. He realized he was in over his head, and Mark Martin didn't hit a thing as he goes through the wreck.
Dorsey Schrader slowed down, got down on the grass, and came through in the 90 car.
Dorsey got a face full of dirt, too, as those cars in front of him kicked up some dust.
And there we see Mark Martin driving through.
And folks, this dirt and gravel and sand that Jeff Burton went over into is something new here at Watkins Glen International. We'll watch it from Mark Martin's in-car. Mark said, "Uh-oh, don't do that, Lance. You're going to be in trouble."
He said, "Man, am I lucky or what?"
Yeah, those sand traps are great because when a car goes in there at full speed, it slows the car and prevents him from hitting the tires or the styrofoam or whatever. But in an instance like this, it requires the wrecker to get him out of that sand. Back in a moment. Third caution of the day out here at Watkins Glen, and we will see some pit stops here in just a moment, we anticipate.
Yeah, it was getting very close to, we had already seen some cars make pit stops under green, and it was getting very close to, and here they all come to their regular pit stops anyway, so now they do it.
Nemechek, Gordon, Elliott, Jarrett. Here is Bill Weber in Dale Jarrett's pit.
And Dale has a good pit stall just across the start-finish line. This will be 4 tires and fuel, 1 pound of air out of both the front tires, 1 round of wedge out of the left side. Steve Allen with the fuel, Brad Parrott on the rear tires, along with Jack Lewis on the front tires. Left already on. Jack under the right side tires going on. Tank is full of fuel. DJ waits, he's down. Nemechek's in. Jerry Punch is there.
All right, left side tires already on the Bell South Chevrolet. He's pitting about 2 stalls down below the second place car of Jeff Gordon, who already now has gone to the right side. Likewise, Bell South Chevy crew putting right side tires on Joe Nemechek's car. 19.8, he is down and away, and he will race Rusty back toward turn 1.
Got out ahead of Wallace and also Gordon and Jarrett.
And Rusty Wallace made a super pit stop as Wally Dallenbach is in now.
Dallenbach's pit stop, I saw him throw a spring rubber out of the right rear. That's one reason his pit stop was slow. They made a chassis adjustment.
So Rusty Wallace picks up several positions as a result of the stop.
And very surprisingly, Mark Martin stopped that time. He'd been in just a few laps ago, and he stopped that time to get back on sync, I guess.
I'd say that's the case because, as Jerry had reported earlier, it was going to be a marginal situation if they could make it on one more pit stop. Let's go to the pits and Bill.
Well, Jeff Burton is here. His Exide Ford is pretty battered on the right side, pulling sheet metal away from the right front and the right rear tires. Frank Stoddard talking to his crew and his driver. Jeff Burton pitches a bottle of water out the right side window. And this is a very frustrating moment. They're going to take down the hood. They don't want to get trapped by the pace car. They don't want to lose any more position than they already have. The pace car and the rest of the field on the backstretch. Burton will roll forward. They'll pull the sheet metal away from the right front. Under caution at the butt of the Glen. The excitement continues, and our coverage also continues in a moment.
We're back Back at Watkins Glen, and the field is now being led by Johnny Benson, who is making his 50th NASCAR Winston Cup start here today.
He stopped on lap 17, did Benson. Also, Kyle Petty stopped on that lap. The 18 car and the 7 car, they stopped on.
Green, 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 green.
Top 3, Kenny Wallace is running in 3rd spot, and Bodine tries to get by, can't quite make it.
Bobby Labonte and David Green run side by side. Here's Dale Earnhardt observing the black flag. What's the penalty for, Doc?
Apparently, he ran over the air hose. They tried to pull the hose out from underneath the front tire, but he ran over it, so NASCAR has invoked a stop-and-go penalty 2 weeks in a row. Remember, last week they had the air hose caught on the front fender, and they pulled it out, ripped a hole in it. Here's Earnhardt. He stopped.
So we've seen 2 potential winners, Robbie Gordon and Dale Earnhardt, both penalized here so far in the race, and been forced to make stop-and-go penalties.
Dale Jarrett trying to work his way back as Jeff Gordon follows. That's David Green, the cat car that they're going by.
We've got 2 Pontiacs up front and another one running 5th.
7 and 18 stopped on the green flag a little bit earlier.
Just before the caution came out. Terry Labonte also trying to get to the inside of David Green there.
Jeff Bodine goes by Kyle Petty, takes him for another spot, now in the 2nd spot. And then that Bodine is pulling that strategy, that same strategy to the, and Kyle comes back.
Up through the S's, Petty fights back and retakes 2nd spot.
Wow, that's quite a move.
How about that?
60 laps to go.
So 1/3 of the race has been completed. There's
Jack spins.
The leader before we had the caution has spun in the inner loop.
He got hit by somebody. It was either Jeff Gordon or Ernie Irvin, I believe, as came or not hard, but it looked like they tapped him just a little bit. I might be wrong.
And Nemechek losing all that track position. Tough break for a very fast race car.
Back to 29th. He was 11th when he spun. He's all the way back to 29th position, coming out just behind Darrell Waltrip.
Wow.
Ricky Craven and Wally Dallenbach are fighting for position. Here's what happened.
He just locks up the right front tire and gets the car out of shape as he tries to go on the inside of Bobby Labonte.
Well, see if we can see from this angle if either Jeff Gordon or Ernie Irvin did hit him. There he comes on the inside of Bobby Labonte's in the green car. And he gets up on those ripple strips, loses control, around it goes. Rusty comes by on the inside. Then Dale Jarrett comes by on the inside. Gordon goes by. Maybe he didn't hit him. I thought he did, but he didn't. No problem there.
Down to Jerry Punch.
Ned Joe said he got the shifter hung up on the car. Trying to change gears, he got the shifter hung, and it backed it out and slowed it down, and that's what jerked the car around toward the ripple strips.
Well, a tough break for Joe.
There's 11 corners here. There are 11 corners. That's 22 chances to make a mistake.
Yep.
And there's 90 laps to do it, so it's 22 times 90. And look at this spot. I mean, this is Jeff Gordon's honey spot right here. He's left-handed.
He has found him a spot to make a pass. And the way he does it, he gets right up under the tail. If he did Dale Jarrett right there, gets that car loose going in that turn. Jarrett had no alternative but to back off a little bit. And Gordon knew it, went right on by.
Jeff Gordon moves up to 7th position. Here comes Ernie Irvin looking to the inside of his teammate Dale Jarrett and picking up another spot.
Ernie's been on the move since the green flag came back out.
Ernie Irvin is making his 250th career NASCAR Winston Cup start here today.
Johnny Benson still hanging on, the Pennzoil Pontiac.
And this is the first time that Johnny Benson has ever led on a road course.
What do you come up with such trivial facts?
Oh, I spend all week coming up with these things, Benny.
You ought to get a game of golf or something.
That's too much work.
Well, takes a look. Can't quite make that left-hander.
Now, Brett Bodine, the third car there on your screen, is a lap down, 37th position. All right, let's check the speeds here at the line, BP.
This is an average speed for the last lap. And we see Benson, the fastest. Oh, look at the 24 car,
wow.
117.2. And there's the battle for the lead.
Bodine to the inside, Benson to the outside. Benson comes out of the corner with the advantage, still hanging on to the lead.
And that lap, Jeff Gordon was the fastest car.
117.295 for the 7th place runner at the moment.
Kenny Wallace, the Square D car, trying to dive to the inside of Brett Bodine.
Well, Ricky Rudd, unfortunately, has taken the Tide Ford back behind the wall once again, so his problems are continuing. 33 laps completed out of 90. Johnny Benson, the leader at the Bud at the Glen. ESPN Speed World coverage of the Bud at the Glen from Watkins Glen, New York, being brought to you by Daytona USA, the ultimate motorsports attraction. By the legendary Firebird Trans Am from Pontiac. By Everstart Batteries and Walmart. It all starts here. And by Miller Genuine Draft to remind you it's time for a good old macro brew. These spectacular overhead shots. Look at this magnificent facility and great scenery. The Pennzoil Copter Cam has these overhead shots for you. It's a great place to just come and spend a few days of vacation, isn't it?
Sure is. This place literally sits on top of a mountain. There's our leader, Jeff Bodine. Able to get by Johnny Benson a couple of laps ago.
And he is our 5th leader of the race so far. The others have been Jarrett, Nemechek, Benson, and Elliott. And this is how Jeff got the lead from Johnny Benson.
Down in turn 1, and this is how you do it. Try to outbrake the guy. Stand on those brakes. Don't slide the tires. Don't wheel up. But get in the corner faster than the other guy, which he did.
And he's beginning to pull away just a little bit now.
Jeff Bodine's career on road courses, 32 races, 3 wins, and 14 top 10s. And look, those 3 wins have come on different racetracks. Watkins Glen, Sonoma, and Riverside. There is Kenny Wallace, who's running real strong here in 3rd spot.
He's one of those that pitted a little bit earlier during the caution. Out of sequence as far as the others are concerned, but he's certainly holding his own there.
Stopped on lap 17.
And Ted Musgrave had made a green flag pit stop, I think the lap after Jeff Bodine did. So he's in good shape, and he's hanging right up in there.
That was on lap 25. There's a 24 car. We saw the speeds at the line just a couple laps ago. He was the fastest car of everyone out there.
But he's caught up to that group of cars now, then he might not be quite as fast. He was sort of out in the open by himself at that time, which allowed him to get a good lap. But now he's fighting for position as Rusty Wallace tries to take one away from Ted Musgrave. Musgrave in the 16, Wallace in the 2.
Wallace dives to the inside, and Jeff Gordon trying to follow. Which one is he going to follow?
Yeah, he don't know.
Here are the speeds once again at the line. Well, looks like Jeff Bodine, the leader, is the fastest. Actually, back there, the 4 car, Sterling Marlin, maybe. But no, just a little slower than Jeff Bodine.
Almost 116 miles per hour for the 46 car of Wally Dallenbach back in the 18th spot, 19th spot.
Riding with Rusty Wallace, 4th position, looking back on Jeff Gordon. Now, since the restart, Rusty Wallace has climbed 3 positions. He was 7th on lap 30, and now 6 laps later, he's moved up to 4th.
Now he's closing in on his little brother, Kenny Wallace. Wallace. There's the leader. There's second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. Steve Park still going by the Burger King Chevy.
Labonte and Dahlin back there running pretty close. Here comes Joe Nemechek after that spin.
He's working his way back up to 23rd spot.
Yeah, he's gained about more than that position since the incident. And Rusty Wallace taking a peek to the inside of Kenny Wallace.
He said, I don't want to take any chances with my brother here. I'll wait for another chance.
Here's a Napa field summary for you once again. There are 3 drivers in the field who have won at Watkins Glen, Sears Point, and Riverside, where the Winston Cup Series used to run. Jeff is one of them. Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd are the others.
Rusty goes to third, then down to the second, I'm sure, through the inner loop.
Well, this group is all over the 30 car as David Green makes a pit stop in the cat car.
Changing 4 tires.
And Jeff's opened up quite a little lead here, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
It's up to over 3 seconds. Another driver who's done nicely since we went back to green is Ernie Irvin. On lap 30, he was running in 12th position and now is 6th. 6 spots in 8 laps, not too bad. David Green coming back on the racetrack. Ernie Irvin finished 8th at Sears Point, the only other road race so far this year.
That goes to Rusty Wallace. I thought he was going to take a look that time. Could not quite make it.
Well, those 6 cars right there are very, very close.
And Kenny Wallace probably realizes that if one car gets by, that means 5 more is going to get by.
Instead of checking speed, let's do intervals, huh?
Okay. You said it was 3 seconds back to the third car?
Yep. Oh, it's more than that now.
Almost 3.5 seconds.
About Kenny Wallace and the great run that he's having today in 3rd position. Here's Bill Weber.
Well, Bob, Kenny Wallace has a very good car. His crew just told me he hasn't complained at all. And it's not that Rusty can get by him pretty easily. Kenny wants to definitely fend him off. Now, Kenny has learned a lot of road racing by watching Rusty and by talking to Rusty. That car is strong. Kenny doesn't want to give up that position. And right now, Rusty may be his own worst enemy, telling Kenny some of his trade secrets. But he did pit on lap 17, so he is out of sequence. And right now, Kenny Wallace would have to make an extra pit stop.
So Rusty wants to get around him, but he's saying, I taught that kid everything he knows. Is that right?
And he must have learned well. Uh-oh, here comes Rusty. Might make the move now. Yep, he's got it.
It's turn 11, now onto the straightaway, and now they got a long, straight part of the racetrack ahead of them. They're side by side down into turn 1, and Jeff Gordon is going to sneak a nose in there too. So Kenny loses 2 positions.
Well, that's better than he could have been. Rusty will shift up to 3rd gear through the S's as he closed in on the back bumper of Johnny Benson. Around turn 3, back to turn 4. Now somewhere here he's got to catch 4th gear. There we go. Down the backstretch, accelerating. 3rd gear, 2nd gear through the inner loop. He'll come off this in 2nd gear, probably through turn 9. He may even run down the backstretch in third. We'll see. This is turn 9. He comes off on the accelerator. Yes. Looks like he's going to keep in third gear all the way to turn 10. Yes, he will make no second gear for turn 10. Wow. Didn't take him long to catch Benson, did it?
No, it didn't. He moved right up on him. Let's see if he can make a pass as he comes off of turn 11 and head down towards turn 1. Well, he's going to look. Let's see. He might have him. Yes, he does. And Gordon will go right by 2.
Johnny Benson back to 4th now.
Now, let's see if Rusty Wallace and Jeff Gordon can catch Jeff Bodine, or can Rusty Wallace drive away from Jeff Gordon?
Yeah, while all that was going on, those positions were being traded there. Jeff has upped his lead to over 3.5 seconds, but we'll see if it decreases. Here's an AutoZone on-track interval that pretty much backs up that statement.
He picked up a half a second that time by, as Rusty Wallace was trying to get by both Kenny Wallace and the 30 car of Johnny Benson. And Jeff Gordon is closed up right on the back bumper of Rusty Wallace. Oh, he looks on that side, and he dives to the inside. Whoa!
This is turn 11. And they'll go side by side down the front stretch here, heading to turn number 1. Who's going to come out to a second position? Looks like Gordon.
Well, there's the leader, and there's second place. It is Jeff Gordon.
Well, he has a 9.3 average finish in his last 6 races, the best of any driver. We're talking about Jeff Gordon, who's now second to Jeff Bodine. Well, it's been a weekend of the Bodine so far. Todd had the pole position, and now Jeff leads this race by about 4 seconds over Jeff Gordon. There's third place Rusty Wallace, and Dale Jarrett is moving to the front.
Well, he was back in 9th, Bob, and now has moved up to the 5th position in the last 5 laps.
We are now halfway at the butt of the Glen. These cars going to the edges. They make the right-hander turn 4. Let's see if that Yates horsepower can pull out. Crew chief on that 30 car, Doug Hewitt, is 48 years old today.
Haven't talked much about Terry Labonte, last year's champion, but he's hanging right in there in 10th position.
He's right ahead of the car that we're riding with right now, driven by Robbie Gordon. In 10th and 11th.
Robbie downshifted twice to that corner. Robbie Gordon, the corners light show.
Bill Weber has more on Kenny Wallace, who has now fallen back to 9th position.
Yeah, Bob slipping back through the field. He's told the crew he's starting to lose the grip on his tires. Now the 24 car noticed that Rusty couldn't get by or wouldn't get by Kenny, and that's when they told Jeff Gordon, you've got to get this brake going to get around him. And when all those guys started going by Kenny Wallace, his crew was telling him on the radio, don't let those guys by, don't let those guys by. Hold your spot. Now the 5 goes by, the 5 car. And Kenny just pulled back and said, settle down, boys. We're going to be okay. Remember, Kenny Wallace has gone about 30 laps on his fuel, so he may need to pit here pretty soon.
And tires. They tell me down there this morning that tires is an issue here because in 30 laps, you're really slipping and sliding around the racetrack.
Another Napa Field summary. Jeff Bodine, the leader of the race, started in 7th spot.
Robbie Gordon, as he gets by Kenny Wallace, takes over the spot.
That's turn 10.
Puts him in 10th spot.
Yep.
Mark Martin's back in the fray. The 6th car, the Valvoline. On the back bumper of Kenny Schrader. That's what spot, Neil?
13th. Schrader's running in 12th.
And both Dallenbach and Mark Martin pulled out at the same time, and both successfully passed.
Schrader.
I'm sorry. Schrader.
Yeah. Remember that name, Schrader.
34 cars still on the lead lap.
And I've been looking at the interval between the leader and Jeff Gordon, and Jeff is closing up. It was about 4 3/4 seconds. It's down now to 3 1/4 seconds. So he's closed about a second and a half in the last couple of laps. And Rusty Wallace is not letting it go anyplace. Car, the Skittles Pontiac. Jerry Coates back on the racetrack. He's tough, about 22 laps down. And Jeff Bodine.
Oh, you're right. It is getting closer. Let's see how close it is.
Oh, wow. It was 3.29 the last lap. This time 2.67. So a half second. Jeff Gordon trimmed off that lead that time.
And Johnny Benson has lost a lot of positions here in the last couple of laps and losing more right here. He dropped from 5th back to 9th.
And Robbie Gordon is trying to get around him for the 9th spot.
Actually, he was in 4th before he started losing those positions.
Bill Elliott had a good qualifying run that put him 7th on the grid, or 4th on the grid, we should say.
He's now 7th. You can see on the pylon up to the upper left.
Terry Labonte just creeping right on up there, guys. He's up to 8th now. He's smooth on these road courses.
He does a fabulous job at road racing. Once again, last time is 2.67. 2.67 last time. Let's see what it is this time. 2.14, another half second. Trimmed off that lead.
Yeah, Gordon and Rusty are coming.
Mark Martin. Whoa! Spins right across the racetrack. And he did not get to the gravel, so if he can keep it running, he should not get stuck. And it is running. I saw it start.
Yeah, I think it died, and then he had to use the starter to get it cranked again. Lost a lot of positions there, Benny, but at least it didn't hit anything. Shouldn't have done any damage to the car.
Well, he went from 12th to, let's see, about 30th, 28th.
Oh, that's tough. There's the pole setter right in front of him. But
So actually, he didn't go to 29th. Here's what happened to Schrader. He saw Mark Martin make this pass. And he said, I think I'll dive down to the inside. But he decided too late. And when he saw Benson was going to come down, he tried not to hit Johnny Benson and just simply spun himself out. To avoid hitting Benson, he himself spun out.
Here's Jerry Punch.
Well, if you look in the Kenny Schrader pits, you will not find Andy Petrie, because at 2 o'clock this morning, Andy got a call to come home because wife Patty was in active labor to have their first child. So they put this sign here in the pits: wanted, crew chief, car owner. Ours is gone to have a baby. We are told that Patty is not quite in complete active labor. They're back in Asheville in the hospital room watching the race, and Andy is by her side watching and waiting for his car to maybe have a good run. And I think Andy's heart had to skip a beat a moment ago.
Well, we wish them the best. On pit road is Kyle Petty. Let's go down to Bill.
Well, one of the guys that had pitted out of the sequence, if you prefer, Kyle Petty now on pit road, going around to the left side, getting left side tires, plenty of fuel. One tire starts to roll away. They chase that down. They'll come around to the right side. Kyle will get right side tires, and then he'll try and stretch his fuel from this point to the end of the race. We were watching Kenny Wallace. He was supposed to pit on lap 51. Now they're going to try and stretch it to 54 and see if he can make it to the end. 19.3 for Kyle Petty. He's back on pit road heading for turn 1.
And Kyle Petty stopped on lap 17. He completed lap 50, so he ran 33 laps. We might need to put that in the back of our heads.
But he's got 40 to go. So,
yeah, so he's got to stop again.
It was 1.56 seconds last lap, and it's about the same thing.
He missed it.
About 1.5 second advantage for Jeff Bodine over Jeff Gordon and Rusty Wallace. Back with more Bud at the Glen in a moment. Jeff Gordon gets the lead just as you rejoin us. He took it away from Jeff Bodine in the spot that he has made so many passes today in turn 10.
Boy, he has found him a sweet spot on that racetrack that Chevrolet works right on, and he puts her right to the front.
Yeah, now Rusty Wallace has got to get by Jeff Bodine, see if he can continue chasing down the 24 car.
Jeff has now led 16 of the 20 races. And here is how it all came together.
Right on the back bumper, Jeff Bodine gets him a little bit loose, and there he makes the move. Jumps down on the inside. Nothing Jeff Bodine can do about it, but stay out there and watch that Chevrolet go by.
And you can see the nose of that 24 car as he nailed the brakes. And look at he pull away from Jeff Bodine.
Jeff Gordon is our 6th leader of the race. And you see the cars moving through the inner loop from the Pennzoil Copter Cam hovering high overhead, Watkins Glen International. Dorsey Schrader is in. Here's Bill Weber.
And he's got left side tires going around to change the right sides, clean the windshield, put in the fuel. Dorsey has a brake pad problem. He's just not used to those pads, a little bit different than what he uses in Trans Am. So
watch your speed, though. Watch that speed down pit road. They just talked to guys. Watch it now.
And he's heading for Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, Johnny Benson was coming in this lap, but he radioed the crew that I am out of gas. I am out of gas as Benson is trying to get the car down pit road at 35 miles an hour. But boy, running out of gas down the back straightaway has cost him a lot of valuable time. They had pitted on lap 17. And the 81 car, we are told, is sputtering too. The Kenny Wallace machine also trying to be able to stretch the fuel for one more stop. And now they're waiting on Johnny Benson, the Pennzoil Pontiac. He will have run 37, making 38 laps this time by, trying to make it a one last stop. We'll check in back with Bill.
Kenny Wallace sputtering, as Jerry reported, but he has made it back to his pit. They pitted on lap 17. The car is running, so he'll get his tires and his fuel, and Kenny Wallace will try and make it to the end, to Jerry Punch.
Well, Johnny Benson, likewise, Bill, has made it to his pit. The car was running. They got the car refired. Once he got it flat on the racetrack and he wasn't in speed, trying to turn the car right. The fuel pickup, they used a tearaway off the windshield. Left side tires are on, right side tires are on. Here comes Kenny Wallace. The square D car. 21 for Wallace, and Benson is down and away. 21.2 for JB.
So Kenny Wallace picked up a spot.
And Jeff Bodine, who had fallen to 3rd position, comes in. Bill?
And Jeff Bodine has a good pit stall right near start-finish. 4 tires and gas, 1 out of air, out of the right front tire. So Jeff Bodine working his strategy to perfection. Pitted on lap 26. Lefts are on. Fuel going in. But on the right side tires, they tear away the plastic windshield coating. But Jeff has a clear view. Defending champ is on his way. Look out for the 21 seconds and change.
Ricky Craven also coming in.
Now, these guys should be able to go the rest of the way, but the cars that are running up front, they got to make another pit stop too. So, you know, they pulled away while they're making this pit stop. Don't know there's going to be a great advantage unless we have a caution here in the next 5 laps or so before those others would come in.
Watching Ricky Craven's pit stop as they go to work now on the right side of the car. Ricky was running back in about 26th position when he came in.
You'll see that he's out of gas. 25 car, he does get it cranked now. He's back going again. Maybe just stall the engine trying to get started again when he's restarting the car.
"56 laps have been completed now. Jeff Gordon has about a 2.2-second advantage on Rusty Wallace. We'll be right back. Several cars have made pit stops, including the guy guy who gave up the lead, Jeff Gordon. Also in, Dale Jarrett, Ernie Irvin, among others. Rusty Wallace is now the leader of the race.
Michael Waltrip is in the pits now, John Andretti.
And here comes Rusty in for his pit stop, so he makes his stop 1 lap later than Jeff Gordon.
It's all up to the pit stop. A good pit stop right now. He can save a couple of seconds. Jared Punch.
Rusty pulls the Miller Lite car to a stop. Though we mentioned Jeff Gordon changed 4 tires a minute. Air pressure adjustment in the rear of the car. Thus far, we've not heard anything from Robin Pemberton about a pressure change. They wanted to go ahead and pit this lap, although they were a little bit concerned about the fuel mileage. Outside tires are on. Inside tires are on. They're cleaning the windshield. As Mark Martin is also in just down past Rusty, they will put on left side tires. Rusty down and away. Bill Elliott is also in further down pit road, down toward turn 1. Now the Mark Martin crew now going to the left side, or the right side of the Martin Valvoline Ford. They will change 4 tires, making sure they get it completely full of fuel. As work continues on Bill Elliott's car, Martin is down and away, and so is Elliott.
Brett Bodine has blown up, and is he going to be able to make it around?
I don't know if that's dirt or oil, smoke. I guess it's a combination of both, because that's definitely smoke.
Yeah, that's between turn 10 and 11, so he's going to make it to the...
And that was the leader of the race, Terry Labonte, that just went by. Terry stayed out there, picked up his 5 bonus points. So he's the leader. We'll see if he comes in the next time by.
And yes, indeed, Terry Labonte does make the pit stop.
And so does Steve Park, who's running in second spot.
Park is being shown, however, as being in the lead for 1 lap. Leader Jerry Terry's there.
All right, the defending Winston Cup champion in after leading that lap, and they will change all 4 tires, clean the windshield, and get it full of fuel. Dale Jarrett on pit road a minute ago, as you watch the Terry Labonte pit stop, we are being told that the 88 car may have lost a piece of the tailpipe over in the back straightaway. We'll double check that momentarily. And the car number 4, there is Terry Labonte down and away as the car number 14 is in. That, of course, is Steve Park, as they have already changed left side tires, working on the right side of Steve Park's car. Dale Earnhardt on the machine, making his first Winston Cup start.
Bobby Hamilton changing the right side, the STP Pontiac.
Who's the leader, Ned?
Well, I'm going to say that Darrell Waltrip maybe is.
Okay.
He hasn't stopped yet.
There goes Steve Park back out on the racetrack up through the S's. He's making a very impressive Winston Cup debut here this week. There is Darrell Waltrip, and you're right, he is the leader of the race because everybody else has made pit stops or in front of him. And so 59 laps are in the books. Now make that 60 laps. And this is what it looks like when you're driving through smoke on board with Ricky Craven as he came up on Brett Bodine. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, just as I complimented Steve Park on his debut, he ran into a bit of a problem up in the inner loop, and he has buried that car in the sand trap.
You see the wrecker over there going to hook it up to pull it off the sand. There's the inner loop, turns 5, 6, 7, 8. Ned looked like he was coming in about, what, 40 miles an hour faster than he should have been?
Yeah, I think he came in there too fast, and he just come out of the pits, had new tires on, and sometimes it takes a little bit till you get the newness scraped off those tires. And let's watch it as he comes in there.
And there we see, boom. It's like the car just wouldn't turn at all. Let's try it again. We see him coming in the corner. He turns in the corner okay, but all of a sudden the car just...
Well, they got down on that ripple strip way down on the inside of them and caused the car to get off the ground, upset, and over into that new sand, dirt, and gravel, and she got stuck on him.
Yeah, he stopped short of hitting the styrofoam and the tires, but the car was pretty much buried in that sand, and so we are under our 5th caution of the afternoon here at Watkins Glen. Well, Darrell Waltrip was the leader of the race when the caution came out.
But he's got to pit again, and what happens in that?
He goes to the rear of the pack, and so that's going to be a disadvantage for Darrell. Everybody else had stopped under the green No, you know, most of the time we're saying, boy, this is a break for Darrell Waltrip. Everybody else stopped on the green. He stops under the caution. Not here, folks.
Yep. Let's get down to Jerry.
Guys, with so many drivers going off the course the last couple of days over in the sand and gravel, that this morning some of the crew chiefs decided to have some fun. Donnie Richardson, who's the crew chief for Brett Bodine, went to a convenience store last night and bought some toys, which he distributed to a number of different drivers who have had some of the kitty litter excursions off track. This was given to Robbie Gordon this morning. He told Robbie, said, if you're going to play in the sand and gravel, you ought to have a shovel and rake and the right kind of toys to dig yourself out.
Robbie was in the sand twice yesterday during happy hour. Let's go down to Bill Weber with more on the 88 car of Dale Jarrett.
And you heard Jerry Punch say that there was a report Dale had lost part of an exhaust pipe. Well, that's exactly right. It's on the right side of the car. Dale radioed in and said, I think something's wrong with the car. And Todd Parrott, his crew chief, said, everything's okay. You just lost a section of your tailpipe. You're running faster than you have all day. In his last pit stop, DJ took 4 tires and fuel, and the fuel may be a big thing. Steve Allen, who was fueling the car, got all the fuel in there, and then some backwash came back. He got a little bit of fuel on his in his eyes and on his chest. He's been treated here behind the pit. He's okay. And obviously Dale Jarrett's tank is very full of fuel because there was a big backwash coming out the overflow at the rear of the car.
We also understand that Ricky Rudd is back on track again. Many laps down, however. In fact, about 48 laps down after some brake problems and some transmission problems. Darrell Waltrip has entered the pits and is in for his scheduled pit stop. And now the lead goes to Jeff Gordon as we're just moments away from a restart here at Watkins Glen. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State, the quality your car deserves.
Well, this is Larry Croplin in his first year as jackman for Michael Waltrip and the Wood brothers on the Sitco Ford. But he's not jacking today. In fact, he hasn't been jacking since the Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And I can show you why, because in that race, he was jacking the car and going around the front right side of the car when he got clipped from behind by Wally Dullenbach Jr. So now you hear about all the trick stuff, all the inventive stuff in NASCAR Winston Cup racing. This is a brand new air cast. He only wears this cast when he has to put weight on his ankle. He broke 2 bones right in here. He's got 1 pin and 4 screws in his shin. But the doctors want to keep his ankle very limber. So when he's not putting weight on this bone, he takes this air cast off. It has 4 valves in it, similar to this one. That's one of them right there. He uses this pump to inflate the cast. So when he's not putting weight on it, he takes it off. That keeps the ankle limber. There was some talk that he wouldn't be back to the car until next year, but he was hoping to be back at Richmond. Right now, he thinks he could be back jacking the car, ironically enough, when the Wood brothers and the rest of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series goes back to Charlotte in October.
Hey, Bill, it's amazing how things have changed over the years in medicine. You know, years ago they had the old plaster Paris cast. The last few years they've had plastic. Now they have air cast. In fact, when we cover college football, we see players wear an air cast all week long. And come game time, the adrenaline gets pumping. You just pop the valve, take the air cast off, and trot on the field like these guys are doing here in the pits today. Bob?
Well, there's your medical lesson for the day. By way of a track fact, Bill, rebuttal or something to add?
Well, I can just obviously endorse what the good doctor said. Larry, you told me that you ran into a guy in the hospital that had similar surgery, and he was laid up for quite a while.
Yeah, he was an older fella, and he had the same type of break about 30 years ago, and with what they had to work with then, he was in traction for about 2 to 3 months, and I had about a 4 or 5 day stay in the hospital with what they can do now, and I'm up and around rather than being flat on my back for 2.5 months. So they've come a long ways.
And he's from nearby Spencer, New York. This is his first full weekend back at the track since the Coca-Cola 600. He did make it to the Brickyard on race day, but this is his hometown track. He wasn't going to miss this one.
All right, we're still under caution here at Watkins Glen, so we will remind you that you can join Chris Berman Thursday at 7:30 Eastern Time for the NFL Tonight. He'll update roster moves and injuries and the latest training camp news. And then stay tuned at 8 o'clock for live NFL preseason action between the Carolina Panthers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Your preseason action at 7:30 Thursday. Collins broke his jaw yesterday, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
So he's questionable for that game on Thursday night. Back with more in just a moment. Welcome back to the Bud at the Glen NASCAR Winston Cup race, and we're just about to go back to green flag racing. It'll be at the conclusion of lap 64, the beginning of lap 65, which means we have 25 laps to go in this contest, currently being led by Jeff Gordon.
And that other Gordon, Robbie, has gotten back up to 6th place. Remember, he had to obey a penalty.
Yep.
Went all the way to the back of the pack, and here he is back up to 6th.
And we ride along with him there. As off of corner number 11.
What's all about?
Well, Rusty now loses 2nd position also as Jeff Bodine goes to the outside and passes him. What was that all about?
Well, you can only pass to the outside, and he was trying to get a run on him coming down to the green flag. Didn't work.
So Rusty drops back to 3rd here. There is Mark Martin back in 8th position.
And Ted Musgrave. Look at Musgrave. Good run on the road course for Musgrave.
We've had 9 different leaders today. Gordon is the first driver to lead twice in this race.
And Elliott trying to get by Terry Labonte. And looks like he will make that move. Steve Grissom, another driver not known for road racing, back in 11th spot. That white car behind Ernie Irvin is Steve Grissom.
Yep, having a good run today. There's Elliott, who is 8th, Terry Labonte 9th, and Ernie Irvin is in 10th position.
Every bit of racetrack available to them, aren't they?
They are. There's still 34 cars on the lead lap. We might set a record here today.
Jeff Burton has lost a lap. Steve Park has lost 2 laps. Bud Strickland has about 10 laps behind. Derek Cope about 26, and Ricky Rudd, you can see that he's still in the race there in the Tide car, but he is 48 laps behind the leader in 40th spot.
And Bobby Labonte is off the pace. Interstate Batteries Pontiac slow off the inner loop.
Keep it high there, Bobby. He's doing it. Let him have the inside groove. So something, either transmission came out of it, clutch, or something went wrong with the engine. I would come nearer thinking of something in the drivetrain. Bill?
Early report transmission on the 18. Jimmy Mayfire standing on top of the toolbox, still talking to his driver, but transmission. And Jimmy Spencer has a carburetor problem, so he's slow on the racetrack. He's going to try and limp around to the finish.
Well, Labonte was running 16th, and he was coming off of his best finish of the 1997 season. Last week at the Brickyard 400, he finished 2nd. Now we see Robbie Gordon and Ted Musgrave having a bit of a tussle back there.
And Mark Martin's involved in that a little bit.
Yeah, Robbie tried to get on the inside of Musgrave down in turn 1, but it didn't quite work.
Another car going in the inner loop. Robbie Gordon is in the 40 car. Musgrave 16. 18. I think it starts going a little bit downhill. He might make it back, but he is very, very slow. And these cars are going to be coming around that left-hander just a second, and they need this racetrack. Maybe he'll get away out of the racing groove before they get there.
Well, the yellow is waving at that particular portion of the racetrack. This is between turns 10 and 11. There is the entry to pit road, so he just barely makes it as the field comes around at full speed.
But when he gets down to the apex of the corner, that's going to really be a problem. He's trying to get as close to the inside as he can, but if he stops, he'll never get started again.
As those cars come by, give a little bit of wind off on him. That'll help to roll him just a little bit more. But now he's in a position that they're coming off a little wider. might not help him any.
So we're waiting to see if they have to throw the full course caution.
Well, those guys right there could run out and push him.
Yep. He just has a few more feet to go before he is in the pit lane. But that's as good as a mile if the car stops.
Oh, yeah.
Slowly. How agonizing this is.
All right, let's go back to the action on the racetrack. See what's happening out there as Bobby Labonte just pulls off and now stops in the entrance to pit road.
And the pit crew can't leave pit road to go get him, Bob, because he's on a portion of the racetrack. He has not entered pit road yet.
The leaders come back once again. They've made a complete lap. And Bobby Labonte's car is still slowly, ever so slowly, rolling.
Yep. And it's sort of downhill. Well, we got a car off in turn 1. Back in 11.
And there was Robbie Gordon trying to get on the inside of Musgrave. Can't quite make it. Where'd the 28 car go?
He's coming in. He went off the track up in turn 11, and now he's coming in. The right front is down.
That's exactly right, Bob. Flat right front tire for Ernie Irvin. He limped around 10 and 11, now took it to his pit stall. Flat right front for Ernie.
And there's problems on this air dam there in front of the car.
Yeah, a little damage there, huh? Let's take a look at what happened. He's in between turns 10 and 11 and runs off into the grass.
The right front tire was flat. I'm sure that's what happened. He goes to the corner and the tire was flat and it just wouldn't turn. He turned and across he goes. And there we see that air dam that Ned was talking about. Dragging.
Jimmy Spencer is still out there, but the car is very, very sick with smoke pouring from behind it. And yeah, that thing can't last much longer. The leader continues to be Jeff Gordon, and 68 out of the 90 laps have been completed here at Watkins Glen, New York. Later tonight, Sunday night game of the week. The Chicago White Sox looking to move up in the American League Central. Albert Bell and Frank Thomas are going to have to be the guys to get them there. They have a tough task as they travel to Seattle to take on Ken Griffey Jr., Edgar Martinez, and Jay Buhner. The ESPN game of the week, Sunday, tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Be there.
Well, I guess I can put in that Jimmy Spencer, the Camel car, has been black flagged.
Okay, and they did successfully move Bobby Labonte's car behind the pit wall. And these shots coming to you courtesy of the Pennzoil Copter Cam. The Pennzoil car, driven by Johnny Benson right now, is in 12th position.
The leader is that guy. In the very right corner of your screen, Jeff Gordon. That's Jeff Bodine and Rusty Wallace, the next two.
Dorsey Schrader is off course. If he's buried that car, it looks like he has. We may have another caution.
Down in turn 1.
And he told the crew he was in the gravel trap.
Yeah, we see the cars rolling, but not going in.
We're stuck in the gravel trap.
Boy, look how deep that right front is down there on that in that sand.
Just off of the edge of the track.
He buried it, that's for sure.
Will not turn, guys. I'm sorry. We went good for about whatever that many laps was, and it's just so tight in the corner.
He was running in 28th spot.
Sorry about that.
Well, this will be a break for Ernie Irvin, who made that unscheduled pit stop. At least it'll let him catch up to the field. Ernie is back in 31st position.
Here's a replay of Dorsey.
There you see the black car. Like you said, he goes in the corner and said, guys, it just won't turn. He said, it's okay for a few laps. And then he gets so tight, I just cannot get to turn. He gets down the corner and it will not turn. He finally has to slam on the brakes, and he spins himself out.
Look how deep he goes into that sand.
But that's the object. The object is to save these guys from going across that grass into the barrier, the retaining wall, because we've seen some cars torn up heavily, some heavy damage to cars that have gone into that wall. So,
yeah, you have to sacrifice the possibility of a caution and a driver getting caught and buried in that sand, but the other aspect is the safety, and that is much, much more important. Well, there's Ray Evernham and the Rainbow Warriors deciding what they're going to do.
I can tell you what they're going to do.
They're going to stay out there, aren't they?
Nothing.
Right.
Sit right there, that same pose.
Track position is the important thing, and you can't have better track position than Jeff Gordon does, because he has the lead over Jeff Bodine, Rusty Wallace, Dale Jarrett, and Ted Musgrave. We'll be right back. ESPN Speed World welcomes you back to the 20th race of the 1997 NASCAR Winston Cup season, the Bud at the Glen, being brought to you by Quaker State, the quality your car deserves. By Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And by the more than 1,625 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. We are still under caution here at Watkins Glen. Dorsey Schrader's car has been gotten out of the sand trap down in turn number 1, so we should be going back to green here momentarily. A reminder, you can catch up on the latest NASCAR news from all divisions of NASCAR. The webpage, www.nascar.com, NASCAR Online.
Or if we can get on the computer and find out if anybody beat Ron Hornaday.
Yeah, he won again in the trucks. Let's see. Jacques Villeneuve won in the Formula One race today. We told you earlier that Dorsey Schrader won here finished third, as Tom Kendall again won the Trans Am race, his 9th of the year. Our Bud race recap: Jeff Gordon has led 14 of the 72 laps that we have had so far, 10 lead changes, 5 cautions for 10 laps, and the average speed a little over 90.5 miles an hour. Here are the drivers that have picked up bonus points for having led a lap. Earlier, the computer showed us that Steve Park had led a lap. However, he has not, because you will not see his name on the list here. Terry Labonte has led 1 lap, so he too gets some bonus points. Drivers off of the racetrack include Bobby Labonte, and we have 3 drivers that are officially out of contention: Brett Bodine, Ward Burton, and Chad Little. Just moments ago, the 10 car of Ricky Rudd pulled in because he realized that he could not gain another position. There just weren't enough laps led.
He's 22 laps behind the next place car, which is Derek Cope, and there are only 17 laps to go. So what's the point in running?
So Ricky Rudd will finish in 40th position here this afternoon after his win last weekend. Doc?
Well, with Jeff Gordon in the Hendrick Motorsports car leading, it's important that we do say hello to Papa Joe Hendrick. Papa Joe had total knee replacement surgery this past Monday. We are told he came home from the hospital yesterday, so Papa Joe is home watching the race today. He's listed officially as the owner of the car number 25 of Ricky Craven. And while we have it, we do want to say hello to our buddy Rick Hendrick watching at home. Rick, we're thinking about you, and partner, we miss you a lot. Bill Weber?
Well, Jerry, the effects of that broken exhaust pipe or header pipe on the 88 car may be starting to show themselves. Todd Parrott has told me that Dale Jarrett does not quite have the power that he had before he lost that piece of piping. So he's down a little bit on power, and his temperatures are up quite a bit under green. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. As for Jeff Bodine, his car was a little bit loose before they pitted last time. They made an air pressure adjustment in the tires. That has helped. Jeff's car is very good. They're not really sure they wanted that caution. They seem to think they could have caught Gordon, but they're concerned about the rest of the field now pulling up behind them. We're under caution at the Bud of the Glen. The closing laps coming up. The winner still to be determined.
Perfect timing. The green flag comes out, and we're back to racing on lap number 75, with Jeff Gordon getting a pretty good jump here at the start of the race.
Boy, he got himself a great jump. He wasn't going to have any situation like Rusty Wallace tried to do on the last restart.
That was unbelievable, the jump that Jeff Gordon was able to get that time.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, there's a bunch of Fords nose to tail behind him.
Now we got a Chevy in the lead, and then 4 Fords chasing.
And then the Chevy of Robbie Gordon. Ted Musgrave, they're in 5th place.
Doing a
Started
great job.
29th, yeah.
Yep.
Great.
Putting some heat on Dale Jarrett, as a matter of fact. But Robbie Gordon is right on the rear spoiler of Musgrave.
There's one spot that I don't think they will pass Jeff Gordon. They're going in turn 10.
No, he's made all of his passes there today, so can't imagine that they'd pass him there.
Robbie took a look there in turn 11, trying to get by Ted Musgrave, but didn't get the job done.
Man, those guys are busy coming off those corners, aren't they? They're trying to dive down to the inside, out braking. Now that's not going to work.
You saw there in the Napa Field summary our pole sitter Todd Bodine running in 21st position, so we're going to up the Unicount bonus money by another $7,600. It was $68,400 coming into this race. It hasn't been won since Jeff Gordon did it at Charlotte.
So we'll go to 10 races next week, so how much will it be worth next week?
Let's see. It's 76.
Musgrave making a move.
Oh! Ooh! And Jarrett almost gets out of shape.
Almost did what Steve Park did there.
Boy, these four cars are right together, aren't they?
And Mark Martin right behind Robbie Gordon, trying to get up, gain all those valuable Winston Cup points he can. Oh, Gordon smoking the tires. Is that tire smoke?
Tires? Let's see.
Looks like it.
Whoa, a bit of a scare here, though, huh?
But Jeff Bodine is closing up.
He sure did. He closed up big time there. Took it from about a second and a half down to 3/4 of a second. Bill has a comment on Jeff Bodine in the restart.
Well, an observation, maybe. I'll tell you, the 7 bunch was furious with the way Jeff Gordon restarted there. Pat Bryson was off that toolbox faster than you could believe and grabbed the NASCAR official and told him to get on the horn and remind him where the restart place is, which is the NASCAR Winston Cup Series bridge out of turn 11. And it was a vigorous discussion down here, but obviously nothing they could do about it. But they wanted him to know that they didn't think that restart was exactly the way it should have been.
But Jeff Bodine right now, folks, I'm telling you, he's closing up on Jeff Gordon big time.
Bodine,
a couple of car lengths.
Trying to make it 2 in a row here at Watkins Glen. Here's where it happened just a lap ago in Jeff's favorite area of the racetrack.
Question is, did he smoke that tire enough to flat spot the tires? And Bodine closed up just a couple of car lengths.
It was 77/100ths of a second last lap. Let's see what it is this time. 42/100ths of a second.
So definitely the 24 car has some type of problem.
And it might be that 7 car back there the problem that it is.
Yeah, that's right. It could be the 7th car. It's just too fast. And let's don't forget Rusty Wallace.
Jerry, any report on Jeff Gordon?
Well, Jeff had been complaining that the car was a little bit loose, particularly coming up the S's and up in the long sweeper down at the end of the interlude. But a moment ago, about 5 minutes ago, Ray Evernham radio jet said, Jeff, there's the cloud you've been waiting for. The car should tighten up. But about 2 minutes ago, the cloud went away, and now the car has gotten loose again. Ray just now told Jeff, he said, be smooth, be smooth. There are more clouds on the way.
Well, since his first win at Charlotte back in 1994, Jeff has won 25% of the races. However, he has gone 5 races now without a win. His most recent victory was in California. That time he lost, Jeff Bodine lost just a little bit of ground.
There we see Musgrave back there trying. Is that Dale Jarrett trying to get by Musgrave?
No, it's Musgrave trying to get by Dale Jarrett.
And he did it.
Yep. So Ted Musgrave goes to 4th now. Jarrett back to 5th position. We've got less than 12 laps to go in the Bud at the Glen here at Watkins Glen. Gordon the leader at the moment. The lead that Jeff Gordon has over second place Jeff Bodine is a matter of car lengths now, and Rusty Wallace is also right there in 3rd position. Gordon has been able to maintain that top spot despite his problem a few laps ago.
There's the first three. Ted Musgrave is fourth. Robbie Gordon and Dale Jarrett is dropping back, Ned. A couple of cars been able to get by him.
Yeah, they've that horsepower shortage that Bill Weber reported a little bit earlier might be coming to haunt him here right now.
And he's smoking.
Yeah, he is.
Some heavy smoke out of the back of Dale Jarrett's car.
They said he was overheating also under green flag conditions. Still be 10 laps to go when they get back to the start-finish line.
Dale had 6 top 10 finishes in the last 7 races and was on his way to another top 10 finish, but I'm not sure he can hold on here. Back up front, it remains. Now it's back to almost 3/4 of a second, the interval that Jeff Gordon has over Jeff Bodine.
It could be that the brakes locked up on that 24 car, and he's been very careful with the brakes now so he doesn't do that again. And he's now starting to use them a little bit more.
Rusty Wallace running in 3rd position. Jarrett's lost 3rd, if that's the report we're getting.
3rd gear.
Yep.
Joe Nemechek, Bell South Chevy, all over the back of the 88 car. Boy, Nemechek's had a great run today.
And as they're running right now, all 3 Sabco cars are working on season best finishes. Bill Weber.
You guys got it. He did. He blew up 3rd gear just as he went past the flag stand a couple of laps ago. So he is down on power. Now he's got that problem, the overheating problem. So a good qualifying run, a strong race, but a disappointing finish for Dale Jarrett. Terry Labonte goes by.
And that does just about drop him out of the top 10. It will here in just a moment when Steve Grissom gets by, if he can. There's Grissom in the 41 car heading down for turn 1. Wally Dallenbach right there also.
I guess that's transmission fluid that's coming on the exhaust system, smoke or seed. Makes a look, and there he will go. Kenny Schrader back there trying to pass Dale Earnhardt. There's Earnhardt and Schrader.
They're running 17th and 18th.
Dale Earnhardt had to stop and go for what? Run of arrows with it in.
Yes, good stop. So that really put him back at the back of the pack. He was 34th when he came out after that stop and go. So he's now running in 17th.
And Schrader taking a look to the inside, entering turn 10. And there now we see that the interval between 1st and 2nd is back up to 1 3/4 seconds as Robbie Gordon and Musgrave continue their battle.
16-12, Rob. You're hauling ass, buddy. 8 laps to go.
16-12, 1 minute or 76.2 tenths of a second. How long it took Robbie Gordon to run that lap?
Might be headed for his best finish ever in Winston Cup competition.
Mm-hmm.
Gordon we're talking about.
The 6-car Mark Martin is 6th.
Now on board with Mark Martin. Less than 7 laps to go. Down to Jerry Punch.
Guys, remember at the top of the show, we talked about the fact that Mark Martin was the only one of the top 3 in the points that had ever won in a Winston Cup car on a road course. Jeff Gordon makes his 10th start today. although he has never won, he has had 4 top 5 finishes in his last road course starts. His first win, as we possibly predicted at the beginning of the show, could come right here today. Bill Weber?
Well, Jerry Punch, this could be one of those races where all the winners don't go to victory lane. Jeff Bodine has had a fabulous day, a remarkable recovery after what happened at Indianapolis. On Monday, he released General Manager Lee Morris from that team. He will announce his new owners early next week. Crew Chief Pat Tryson told me earlier that on Monday, morale here was about a -1, but today he set it to 9.5. They've got a good car and a good team, and they will not surrender. Troubles continue for the 88 car. NASCAR has black flagged Dale Jarrett.
That is a serious blow to Dale in the points because he was third coming into this race, 147 behind. Here he is in turn 11, staying on the racetrack, but indeed he does get the black flag.
Well, that is a serious blow. There are 30 cars still remaining on the lead lap.
And we see that Robbie Gordon has taken away 4th position from Ted Musgrave as we continue to watch Dale Jarrett. Here is Jeff Gordon coming out of the turn and down the backstretch, headed for the inner loop once again.
And Rusty Wallace. Bill talked about Jeff Bodine, what a moral victory this would be for him. How about Rusty Wallace, who's been struggling so much here of late in the Miller Lite car? This is not a win, but a 3rd place gives them something to build on, that's for sure.
Well, when we saw that puff of smoke come from Jeff's car a few laps ago, Jeff Bodine was able to close in, and the interval was 0.4 of a second, but look how that has increased since then. Back here on lap 83, it's up to 1.7 again. We're running a little bit over. We were supposed to be off the air at 3:30 Eastern Time, but the Great American Insurance Championship Tennis is coming up right after the conclusion of this event, and we have less now than 5 laps to go. Yeah, Rusty Wallace had not posted a top 5 finish here since he was 4th in 1991. Rusty is a 2-time winner here at Watkins Glen and has won more road courses than any other active driver with 6. On board now with Mark Martin in 6th. Apparently they have pulled a scorecard on the 88 because Jarrett has not heated it yet.
He went on by the second time that he got the black flag. It used to be that you had like 4 laps before they would show that flag, but apparently that has been changed.
There's the first 3 cars, Jeff Gordon, Jeff Bodine, Rusty Wallace. Right now, Rusty Wallace is closing in right on the back bumper of Jeff Bodine. Right on the back bumper.
86 laps complete. Thank the people from Pennzoil for once again providing these overhead shots from the Pennzoil copter cams circling around above Watkins Glen International. Dale Jarrett has pulled into the pits. And they send him right back out there. Bill Weber.
Well, this crew is livid. They were black flagged for allegedly leaking oil on the racetrack or leaking fluid, and they would not come in. They told NASCAR, we're not leaking anything, we're not. And finally, NASCAR pulled their card. The 88 car came in, and he apparently was not leaking anything. Todd Parrott talking to Steve Peterson, a heated discussion. So we'll have to see where this goes after the race.
We're looking right straight down on his pits from the tower here, and can't see any fluids there at the time that he stopped. But
a reminder coming up next, ATP Tennis, the Great American Insurance Championship. Jeff Gordon crosses the line, and there are now 3 laps to go at Watkins Glen.
And yet, you know the fastest car on the racetrack right now is?
Who?
Robbie Gordon.
Is he?
Yes.
He's running 4th.
The last lap, he ran 1:15.7. The leader ran 1:14.9.
We have quite a treat coming up in that tennis match. It was a year ago this weekend that Jerry Punch learned how to pronounce the name of one of the players in that final. It'll be Pete Sampras against, Doc, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Tomas Mooster.
Very good.
He learns well, doesn't he?
Yeah, last year we struggled a little bit with old Tomas, but this year we know him by heart.
All right. Sampras and Mooster coming up in tennis in just a few minutes. Watching back there for 5th and 6th. There's Gordon off the corner once again, headed down for turn number 10.
There's a slow car, Huss Strickland. But he'll be out of the way. These guys will dive to the inside of it. Well, Russ really trying. He is driving as hard as he possibly can to get alongside, get position on that 7 car. Can't quite make it. Laps are running out. 2 to go, and here we go, Martin.
Passes his teammate, Ted Musgrave.
That's for 5th spot, and that's 5 more points. Oh, and Joe Nemechek is in the, come on, Joe, hit the gas, baby.
Attaboy. Don't hit the wall and don't get stuck in the sand. He didn't do either one. He's back on track, pulling ahead of Johnny Benson, so he falls back to 11th position.
But he kept the accelerator down and went right on through that sand, dirt, and gravel. If he'd have hit those brakes, he'd have been stuck.
Todd Bodine, the pole sitter of the race, just went behind the wall here in the late going. He was running in 29th position. Here's a look once again at what happened.
Old front row Joe got in there too deep, didn't he, Ned?
Got in there a little bit too hard and just had to steer it left. Had no choice, or he was going to spin out, and he probably would have gotten stuck. But as a result of driving it on through there, keeps going.
White flag is out for Jeff Gordon. One more lap to go. Chevy has recorded 7 wins so far.
In 1997, and guess what?
He's won all of them.
He's won all of them, that's correct.
And he may have another win here today. He's got a couple of Fords chasing him. Jeff Bodine and Rusty Wallace.
For the biggest advantage he's got about a 1.5 second advantage on those guys.
If he doesn't make a mistake or anything happen to that car, he has it.
Hooper goes off, and he too keeps it out of the sand and drives back onto the course. Where was he running, Ned?
Well, he was 23rd. 23rd, yeah. So he was one of those cars on the lead lap.
Here is Gordon headed down for turn the inner loop, I get. No, turn 10.
Turn 10. The left-hander he loves so much.
Made a couple of passes there today and drives by it for the final time. Now he heads for turn number 11, the final turn on the course. Jeff Gordon has won the Bud at the Glen. His 8th win of the 1997 season, his 27th career victory, and now it's complete. Kyle Petty has gotten off course in the inner loop.
See, the 81 car is sitting up there. Kenny Wallace, who had a great run going, is sitting up, was running 13th. Sitting in the inner loop, dead in the water. Jerry Punch.
Well, Ray Evernham, it took a while. 10 starts on a road course, but finally you got one. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. You know, I got to attribute that to a great driver and a great team. You know, he searched for a gear ratio that he wanted, put it in yesterday, and he made a great time. I want to say hi to Rick and Linda. Papa Joe, get well, and want to thank God for giving us the opportunity to do this, and Patty and Andy Petrie giving birth right now, I hope.
Yeah, hopefully. Good luck to Andy and Patty. I got to ask you, $50,000 plus Winston bonus for winning it today, winning and being the point leader. Congratulations, win number 8.
Well, I didn't hear the last part of that, Jerry, but we sure appreciate what Winston does, and you know, we really want to win that championship. We want that championship for Rick Hendrick this year, and all the people at Hendrick Motorsports. It's real important to us. We're trying to stay focused and get it.
All right, Ray Evernham, the winning crew chief. He will head up to victory lane. He will run to victory lane, as Chevrolet has now won 8 in 1997. All 8 coming from Jeff Gordon.
Let's see if we can see what happened up in the inner loop. There we see. There's Kyle Petty. He and the 43 car almost make contact. I guess he did make contact. The 43 car spun.
Yep.
And all the cars trying to stop.
Another angle.
And Kenny Wallace he's stopping anyway. As we see the cars go in the corner, the 81 car could not complete that last lap.
Yeah,
Steve Park, he's on the inside. Oh, he hits the 44 car, does Park. Obviously, you saw that, folks. And he and Michael Waltrip hit then.
But the 81 car was totally unrelatable. Jeff Gordon has won that Winston bonus 4 times in 1996 and 5 times this season, racking up $425,120. How about that? Jeff Gordon wins again here in 1997, securing his spot atop the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings. And now the cycle is complete. He has won on a short track, won on a super speedway, and now he has won on a road course. The yellow arrows indicate those who led a lap. The double yellow there at Jeff Gordon's name indicates that he led the most laps, and so he's going to walk out of here with just about as much point advantage as you can get.
And Dale Earnhardt will come back to finish in 16th spot.
28 cars were on the lead lap when the checkered flag came out. Dale Jarrett fell to 32nd there in the late going, although he did lead a lap today. Now the point standings as we head to Michigan International, a 109-point advantage Jeff Gordon has over Mark Martin. Jarrett still third, Labonte and Burton, Earnhardt, Bobby Labonte, Jeremy Mayfield. The McDonald's Winner's Circle interview, here's Bill Weber.
And we kidded with Jeff Gordon before the race about a Gordon going to victory lane. You lead the points, you got the money, and Jeff, you won on a road course. Congratulations.
I'm speechless. I really don't know what to say. This means so much to me and this entire team. Win our first road course race. Today it was just our day. I want to thank the Lord for giving us such a great day and giving me such a great team to work with and great race cars. And to Rick at home, we know you're doing good, buddy. And we love you and we miss you. I want to thank DuPont Automotive Finishes, Pepsi, and Quaker State Chevrolet. I mean, it's a great day for us.
Jeff Gordon with a great day and a great win at Watkins Glen.
And we'll see what he and the other NASCAR Winston Cup drivers can do next Sunday at Michigan Speedway. We will be there for the 400-mile race. So we'll see you then. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now let's go to tennis.